Everyone tells you natural hair needs a blunt, even cut to grow, but that's a lie. Her hair ends were full of fairy knots. It was dry and it had a lot of old damage. But cutting 5 inches off? Come on now. That cannot be the answer. I'm going to show you what actually matters because we don't do drastic cuts over here. We do strategic snips because we trying to get some long hair, okay? We ain't got no time to be cutting away all our good hard work. Hey, curl friends, and welcome back to Coconuts, home of the Long Hair Society. I know you watched the first part of this video, and now you're back here for the second part. We already went through the shampoo process. We went through the finger detangling process, and now we are giving her a little snippy snip. Now, before you go ahead and break your fingers in the comment sections coming for me, I'm going to let you know right now, I am not going to straighten her hair for this cut, so you can stop it. I know we are used to seeing someone get a haircut with their hair in a straightened texture, but that is not a rule. That is not a law. I am not breaking any laws by going ahead and giving her a cut without straightening her hair. Her hair is natural. Her hair is usually in a shrunken state. Her hair is usually in a protected style. She does not care about the aesthetics of an even cut, and having an even cut is not going to make your hair grow faster or longer. But you don't have to listen to me. I'm just an expert, a cosmetologist, a lawyer, a doctor, a scientist, a police officer, and a private dancer on the weekends. But listen, you can take your own advice. I like to focus on where I see a lot of fairy knots, mostly localized trimming, not mass chopping. Cutting curls straight blunt is for aesthetic, not for growth. Growth is about retention, moisture, and protection. Most people come to me for advice on how to grow their hair. Of course, we all want healthy hair, duh. That's a given. But a lot of people, we want long hair. So I like to just focus on that. And I like to give strategic cuts that's just going to help retain length. Not about aesthetics and even cuts. If that's what you desire, go get it. It looks great. I love an even cut. But to think that you need to get an even cut and make sure that all your hair is even throughout to have long hair, baby, that's unnecessary. Now I'm all done giving her strategic snips, and this is how her hair turned out. Is it even? No. Is the problems addressed? Yeah. I think so. Now, of course, you guys can see where the thickness ends and the thinness begins. But let's be honest, hair has a natural tapered look. When you first begin your natural long hair journey, you will notice that the diameter of your hair strand will increase. So your hair ends are always going to be a lot more tapered and thinner than your new growth because your new growth is getting the best out of you. I think her hair looks a lot better. What do you think? We got rid of a lot of fairy knots. We got rid of some damage, and now her hair is ready to be put in a protective style. The number one reason why I don't like to straighten anyone's hair first is because I usually do a protective style at the end of a service. So I just feel like it's just best to not even put the hair through a lot of stress and straighten it just to get an even cut for no reason at all, just to braid it back up in a protective style. That's just going to defeat the purpose of a protective style. Right now, I'm just using a light, beautiful oil, the Deep Nourishing oil from coconuts.com, all over her strands just to give it a nice, beautiful coating. And then I'm going to go ahead and butter her hair up before I start braiding it and sewing her hair down. Today, we're doing more of a full sewing. She has been doing mostly sew-ins for the last couple of years with a lot of leave out. And she has been doing knotless braids here and there, boho knotless braids, which I hate because I feel like it does not do people's hair justice. I feel like it breaks people's hair a lot, but that's just my opinion. But now we're switching her to full sew-ins because Miss Ma'am, she don't do too good with her leave out. She's been burning her leave out. I don't like how, you know how it is when you get sew-ins with leave out, the middle and the back of your hair will look long and then the leave out pieces will start looking a lot shorter. I don't like that. So she's going to have to get a full sew-in because she cannot beat the weather here in South Florida, and constantly trying to match your hair to straighter hair textures of extensions, that's not going to work. You're going to lose every single time, and you're going to lose your edges, and you're going to lose your leave out. So if she is not going to go ahead and buy textures that are closer to her hair, then I highly recommend she continue doing full sew-ins. That way she doesn't have leave out and she doesn't burn her hair up, and we don't have to keep cutting her hair just to catch up. She's still trying to get the hang of maintaining her hair while her hair is sewn in. She used to be a box braid girly, which her hair thrived off. She was able to maintain her hair beautifully. She was keeping up with the shampoo regimen. She was keeping up with keeping her hair moisturized in the box braids. But I noticed ever since she switched to sew-in, she's been having a hard time maintaining her hair within the sew-in. When you come to me, what I usually do is oil and butter up your hair strands before I sew it in, because it's kind of hard to seal in butters and oils into your hair once your hair is already sewn in on a month-to-month basis. That's why I load it up. I go ahead and I use the oil that you see me use, or I'll use a thicker oil depending on their hair type. And I use a thick butter. Right now I'm using the Main Magic leave-in conditioner. This helps soften the hair. It's definitely going to seal in and protect it while her hair is still in the sewing. We don't want her hair getting too dried out. Even though we did blow dry it, her hair still has moisture within it. We just don't want it getting dried out completely. So I'm just going to definitely butter up her hair and make sure I get it on every strand. And this is just going to work beautifully. I try not to put too much things on the scalp when I'm doing a sewing, only because naturally these oils and butter, they're going to reach the scalp once you're laying down sleeping anyways, and we don't want too much on the scalp right now. You absolutely do not need hair extensions to get to longer, thicker, stronger hair. You don't need them at all. Hair extensions is an added luxury. You can get to the long, thick hair of your dreams just by using your own God-given hair and protective styles. In fact, that's probably the best way to get to long length. But let's be real, a lot of us, we don't want to really do that. We want some hair extensions. You know, we want to kind of manifest the long hair by already having long hair on our head. So that's why we like to use hair extensions, and you can most definitely incorporate hair extensions and get long hair fast. But you gotta learn how to maintain your hair within the hair extensions. You can't get confused. You can't start thinking that this your hair. You cannot forget your natural hair within the hair extensions, and that's where the damage happens. Don't be like her sitting in my chair, because she like to get her sewings done and forget her real hair underneath. And you can't get that confused, especially if you're going to be using textures that are totally different from your natural hair. Especially if you have leave out, you're going to have to be diligent. You're going to have to think, okay, I cannot burn my natural hair trying to get it to match to a hair texture that does not resemble my hair texture at all. That's just insanity. You're going to lose every single time, like I said before. So the best thing for you to do is get a texture that matches your hair, or do full sewings like what I'm about to do on her. Usually I do a full sewing when nothing's left out, and sometimes I'll do a complete sewing and leave out maybe some of your baby hairs, just so you know you can feel more comfortable when the wind blows. Or if your edges are a little bit more thinner than others, I won't braid your edges up. But a full sewing allows you to really get the most out of a protective style without trying to fry, dye, and lay your natural hair to the side and lose all of your leave out. When I braid, I don't braid too small and I don't braid too tight. Either you know how to sew in some hair or you don't. Having a long-lasting sewing has nothing to do with tight braids, small braids. Yes, you want your braids to be flat because we don't want no cone head hairstyles. But when it comes to having a long-lasting sewing, it's all about the stitching. And you got to stitch close together. Can't have any gaps, and you got to use that thread. Once I'm doing my sewing, I no longer use the comb to comb through the hair because I already did enough combing and detangling. That's it. I use my fingers and I just use the parting stick of the comb to part. That's it. You already combed during the shampoo and the detangling process already. You can't keep combing out people's hair over and over and over again. You're going to comb out all they doggone hair. So use your fingers, use a parting stick, and create that braiding pattern. Choose a pattern that's going to benefit the client's hair, that's going to motivate their hair to grow. Kind of try to go in their natural growth pattern, and something that's going to complement the style that they're looking for, and something that's going to help the sewing last for months. My sewings can last you for life, to be honest with you, because once I stitch that mother sucker in, it ain't coming out. You're going to have to cut that thing out. But for real, I like to tell people anywhere from 2 to 6 months, depending on your hair texture. If you know you got fine, silky hair that you're trying to thicken up, you know your hair cannot handle keeping no doggone sewing in for 6 months. You're going to have to take that bad boy out when you see it hanging too much. You know when your hair needs to come out. Now, if you got thicker hair, I'm talking about that strong hair, that type of hair, that coil, it's so coiled that you can't even see the ringlets. If you got that type of hair, then you know you can ride out to 6 months. You know your hair is strength. But you got to know how to maintain it. You got to shampoo your hair, baby. You got to make sure your hair is thoroughly dry within the sewing. You got to make sure that you're using some drops just to make sure that you are stimulating growth, that your scalp ain't getting too dry. It's a lot of little parameters. That's why you should just book me, babe. Just book me. I'm in South Florida area. Anytime you need a reliable sewing because you are on a long hair journey, just email me. All the information is below. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy.